What's up, everybody? I'm back with another how to make a beat using music theory video, and today I'm going to be discussing intervals. And basically what I'm doing is teaching you how to be a true musician, and honestly that's what you need to make beats, because any DAW can be learned pretty quickly, whereas this stuff is more important. So intervals. So basically an interval is the distance between two notes. So I'm going to start with the smallest distance, which I discussed last week, which is the minor second or the semitone or the half step. And that sounds like this. And like I said, it sounds like the theme song from Jaws. So as we see here, it's the smallest distance. Our next interval is the major second, and that is also known as a tone, which we discussed last week. So basically it consists of two semitones, major second. Our next interval is a minor third. Major third. That's a major third. Next interval is called a perfect fourth. And it's called a perfect fourth because, as we've seen, the second and the third can either be minor or major. Minor or major. Perfect fourth, there's no such thing as a major or minor fourth. So it's simply perfect. Next interval is known as the devil's tone. It's called the tritone. Yeah, that sounds really ugly, but when used properly, it could be pretty nice. But played like that, it's just nasty. Next interval is called a perfect fifth. Again, perfect because it cannot be minor or major. It's simply perfect. Next is the minor sixth. Major sixth. This is minor seventh. And major seventh. And basically the last interval is an octave or a perfect eighth. So basically, that being said, a scale could be viewed as the different intervals in between an octave. And then it just continues, it repeats, right? Goes up because we're hitting C here, then the other C. So an octave is going up the octave to the same note. So if we look at scales, now that we know what intervals are, we can say that a major scale has major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seven, back to the octave. And it just continues going up or down, doesn't matter. Minor scale basically has, well, obviously one, the tonic or root, major second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth. Again, these are always perfect. in most cases. Sometimes things change. But yeah, minor 6, minor 7, back to the octave. Harmonic minor, major 2nd, minor 3rd, perfect 4th, perfect 5th, minor 6, major 7th, and back to the tonic. And again, the harmonic minor scale has that Arabic sound. If you play 6 to 7 in a melody, if you play this interval, it's a minor 3rd, which gives it that foreign sound. So Phrygian, basically we have the perfect intervals, 4th, 5th octave, and everything else is in the minor. Minor 2nd, minor 3rd, minor 6th, minor 7th. And Dorian, we have major 2nd, minor 3rd, perfect 4th, perfect 5th, major 6th, minor 7th, and back to the tonic up the octave. So, that being said, that is what intervals are. If we take a melody and look at the intervals being used, I'll just use Black Widow as an example for now, since everybody knows it. Okay, so as we discussed in the last video, the scale degrees for this melody are 1, 6, 5, 3, 2, 3, 1, and it just keeps repeating that. But the intervals being used are, if we look at the distance between 1 and 6, that's a minor 6th. Then from scale degree 6 to 5, a minor 2nd going down. From scale degree 5 to 3, that's a major 3rd going down. From 3 to 2 is a minor 2nd, then a minor 2nd going back up to 3, and then a minor 3rd. So minor 6, minor 2nd, major 3rd, minor 2nd, minor 2nd, minor 3rd. So that's how you look at intervals in a horizontal dimension. And when I say that, I mean melodies, distances from one to the other. But you could also look at intervals in a vertical dimension. And by that, I mean minor 3rd, major 3rd, perfect 4th. Scale degrees 1, 3, 5, back to 1. And this is what basically where chords come in. And that's basically combining tones with certain intervals at certain intervals. And that's basically it. But I'm not going to discuss chords right now because that's a whole other subject. Instead, what I'm going to do is discuss consonants and dissonance. So a consonant interval are basically intervals that sound stable. We have the perfect intervals, which are perfect 8th or octave, the perfect 5th or the perfect 4th, and then we have the other consonant intervals, which are the imperfect intervals, which are minor 3rds, major 3rds, major 6ths, and minor 6ths. So basically that's perfect. I mean, it sounds perfect. This is consonant basically. It's the same note, just an octave above. This is a perfect fifth. It also sounds stable. Perfect fourth. Minor third. These are the imperfect consonant, the imperfect intervals, which are also consonant. Major third. Minor sixth. And major sixth. Now, that's consonants. We also have dissonance, which is basically the opposite of stable, which is unstable. And dissonance basically creates a lot of tension, and using this is very important when making music. So usually the dissonant intervals are seconds, sevenths, and the tritone. So I'm gonna go here. So that is major second. I mean, it's up the octave, but it's still a second because it's on the D, and D is also here, which is a second away from C. So that's dissonance. You could hear there's some... It's calling for consonants, basically, which would be this. What else? We have the minor second, which is really dissonant. We have the tritone. That's just ugly. The minor seventh. And the major seventh. So if we basically look at Black Widow again, the bass line for this song is 1, 4, 6, 7, 1, 4, 6, 7, 1, while the melody does 1, 6, 5, 3, 2, 3, 1, 6, 5, 3, 2, 3, 1. Now, while the bottom notes are going on the bass line, on the top, these notes act as basically, you know, passing consonant and dissonant intervals, and that really gives flavor to music. So if we look at this from here to here, we have a perfect fifth. A perfect octave. Then a minor sixth here. Perfect fifth. Minor third. Major second. Minor third. Then the bass line changes. So now we have an interval of a perfect fifth. Then we have a minor third. Major second, minor seventh, major sixth, back to the minor seventh, right? Then the bass line changes for the next bar, and for 2 beats it's on the scale degree 6, and the same melody is going on throughout each for 2 beats, then it just keeps repeating. Now the intervals have changed again, so now we have a major third, an octave, a major seventh, perfect fifth, here we have a tritone right here. Listen to this. But you don't notice it while it's passing fast like that. Like, look. But because it's basically, well, this is called a neighboring tone because it's basically neighboring this note and coming back to it. You don't notice the tritone like that, but it basically gives it a dark flavor without you noticing. And for the last note of the bass line, the last two quarter notes of bar 2, we have the intervals of a major second. Wait, is that a major second? Yeah, major second, a minor 7th, major 6th, perfect 4th, major 3rd, and back to perfect 4th, and then repeats. And that's how intervals basically work. Now, I just need to discuss one more thing, and that is compound intervals. So this, basically, this is technically a minor second, but it goes over the octave here. So although it's the same note, and it technically is a minor second, it's an octave above, so it's considered a minor 9th. So this would be perfect octave or perfect 8th. So after 8th comes the minor 9th. Then after that, we have again, this is basically a major second, but because it's up the octave, it's a major 9th. Same idea here. This would be minor 3rd, but octave above makes it a minor 10th. Here would be a major 10th. Really a major 3rd. Perfect 4th. But because it's an octave above, it would be a perfect 11th. That's the tritone again, just an octave above. This is a perfect 12th. Or perfect 5th. And as you continue up the octave, basically becomes minor 13th, major 13, major 14, minor 14 I mean, then major 14, and up the and basically that's it. So that's it for intervals. I hope you learned something, and I hope this bubbles in your brain and you start to think about these things. If you learned something, please subscribe to my YouTube and follow me on Twitter. My links are in the description. Thanks.